transversal and parallel lines. I will use postulates and theorems of angle pairs formed by transversal to parallel lines to solve the variable.
Lovely. So all the stuff that we did the last time when we were talking about, which were the alternate interior and which were the corresponding, all that's coming back, and that quick identification skill is going to help you out. But this time, instead of any old lines being cut by the transversal, they're parallel. And so when they're parallel, we have these particular relationships that happen with their measures. Notice how the corresponding and the two alternate pairs, both interior and exterior, are congruent to each other. What did congruent mean again?
Same size, same shape.
Same size, same shape, which means the measures are going to be very good, equal. The consecutive pairs, the interior, consecutive interior and consecutive exterior, those are going to be supplementary. What did supplementary mean? 180. How do you get to 180? What do you do? Add, subtract, multiply, divide. Add. I don't know, with some in this area, really, really small voice somewhere here. Add. So when you add the angles, when you add the measures of the angles, you will get 180 degrees. That makes them supplementary. So both of the angles in the consecutive interior pair and both of the angles in the consecutive exterior pair, they will be supplementary to each other. The last theorem that we're showing today, we're not going to use as much of the others, but I just wanted to put it out there for right now, is the idea of the perpendicular transversal. You saw this in action when we first did the translation transformation constructions. Recall how we took the vector and we drew a line perpendicular to it, and then we drew a bunch of perpendiculars to that one? We were using this theorem, this idea that perpendicular lines end up creating parallel lines. All right, hang on to your notes. Just push them off to the side of your desk. You're going to need them again in a moment. Come over and join me in the study guide. Join me on the side where the holes are on the right-hand side, and it doesn't say continued. I already talked to copy room to help me get the holes on the correct side of the paper, because this just feels weird. Your entire page of notes, all of the 15 minutes you took to write, can all be condensed down to those bullet points. But you needed the theorems all in if-then for later. These top ones are your congruent, so this you can use as your quick reference. The ones down here are your supplementary. They forgot to put one of the pairs, so go ahead and add it in now. That's the consecutive exterior that got lost. I didn't finish writing the word angles there. Let's use these bullet points and our notes to do exercises 1 through 6. Directions say that this figure here off to the right shows us that the measure of angle 3 is 102. So I'm going to go ahead and start that off. I'm going to scribble in here 102 degrees. It wants us to find the measure of each angle, the one that it's asking for, and then state which postulate or theorem from your notes you used in order to find the measure of that angle. Okay? Let's start with angle number 5. First off, here's angle 3. I'm going to use my pen to point to it. There it is. And angle 5 is right here. So what's the angle pair? First off, are these on the same side of the transversal or on different sides of the transversal? Different, which means it has to be one of the alternates. So it's either alternate interior or alternate exterior. Interior, because the pens are in between those parallel lines. Very nice. And so I can write here as my reason, alternate interior angle theorem. On your work, please write it all out. If you write big and fat like me, this is really, really small for me. Do your best, or another sheet of paper. I'm abbreviating for notes because I don't have very much room. Now the alternate interior angle theorem, according to my notes, says two parallel lines are cut by a transversal, then each pair of alternate interior angles is
Congruent.
congruent. So alternate interior angles are congruent. That means their measures are the same. Angle 3 is 102, therefore 5 is 102, and I have the measure of my angle and the reason why I say it's that measure. Ready to look at number 2? Number 2 wants us to look at angle number 6. I'm going to start with angle 3, which is the one I know, the one I have. There it is. Trying very hard to point at it. All right, and then angle number 6 is that one right there. What's the angle pair? Corresponding, she says. They are both on the same side of the transversal. However, corresponding needs one inside and one outside. Where are 3 and 6? They're both inside, so it's one of the interiors. Which interior? Alternate or consecutive? Consecutive, because consecutive is our word for same side. And so by the consecutive interior angle theorem, they are, whoops, better go read that. Let's go find it. Here it is. Consecutive interior angles, two parallel lines, cut by a transversal. Each pair of consecutive interior is supplementary. So not congruent, not the same. I have to take 180 and subtract the measure that I already have. And when I do that, my new measure is 78, says Ms. Bethany. I'll believe you. I'm assuming you had a calculator app or you're just really good at the mental math. Yes, she nodded her head at me. I'm not so good at the mental math, so I will believe your answer. All right, let's look at number 11. I'm sorry, angle 11, number 3, angle 11. It's over here. It looks like there's no way to get to it from here, right? Check this out. Boom. So on this, when you have a bunch of lines to look at, find what you need and then start covering pieces until you see something helpful, okay? So now I have angle 3 over here and angle 11 here. What is my angle pair?
Corresponding angle.
Corresponding, because they're both on the same side of the transversal, which in this case is M, and one is interior and one is exterior. Yes?
Can I please have Cortez Stewart to the office? I just can meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wait until the examples are done. It'll be like 2 more minutes. All right, according to the corresponding angles postulate, these angle measures are, or rather these angles are,
Congruent.
the angles are congruent, and by definition of congruent, their measures are
Same.
the same or equal. All right, can you see how we would do the rest of these?
Yes.
The exact same sort of way. Take a look at 7 through 12.
Miss, wait, you told us to write the full answer out, like the whole word?
Yes, please, if you could write the whole answer out.
We can't abbreviate like here.
I would like you not to abbreviate. Yes, please. On the study guide, totally abbreviate. These are notes. But when it comes to the skill practice, write it all out. And if you don't have enough room because the printer's made it really small, another sheet of paper is fine. Yeah. All right, 7 through 12 is the same sort of idea, except you only have 2 parallel lines. W and V are the only ones parallel. P and Q are not. So keep that in mind when you're looking at those angles, okay? Let's turn the page. I just want to show you real quick numbers 1 through 4. Same idea. We have to find our parallel lines though. For this one, in number 1, our parallel lines are represented by my green pen and my orange pen. Do you see them?
Yep.
Okay. And my transversal then would be this. Okay. So now if we're trying to find the value of the variables, and again explaining your reasonings, I'm going to look at the angle measures that have the x value in them. Bless you. What's the pair, the relationship between those two? I'm sorry, one more time? The x, definitely they have the same variable, but what angle pair do they form? corresponding, because they're on the same side of this transversal, this side of the triangle, and we have one interior and we have one exterior to those parallel lines that we had identified earlier. Okay? So, we can write out that these angle measures are the same. So here's the start of your algebra. And since we need to explain our reason, this is definitely one of those moments where you write everything on another sheet of paper. Solve down, and your reasoning is, you said corresponding angles, yes? By the corresponding angles postulate. Okay. Similar setup in number 5 or 6.
So you just solve for x?
You're just solving for x, well, for variables. So if there's only one variable, solve for that one. If there's 2 or more, solve for all of them. All right. Yes, nicely done.